Hope everyone is able to hear me properly. Okay. So till now we saw that we have plugins or let's say components which are npm modules which can be installed in your Sunbird and you can consume it. Okay. Similar to this, not only Sunbird Ed, there are third parties, not third parties, I'm extremely sorry. For me it is third party because Ed is independent of the other building block. The third party for me will be knowledge, okay, or let's say co-create, or let's say your inquiry and observe, learn. All these are my third parties for Ed because we are not developing it. Somebody else is developing it and we are consuming it. Okay. So like that, I'll be taking up certain items. Yesterday we talked about few things like content, collection, and we said content has a what was the life cycle of a content?
Content gets created and reviewed, it may get published or rejected, again come back.
After that?
Expired.
After that?
Retired.
Fine. Then? That's all. Okay. Yesterday there was one missed out, that is consumption. You create a content.
We are doing it for that.
What is exactly? So you're creating something so that you can consume it or you can make use of it. The knowledge that you have will not be only with you. You can give it as a knowledge transfer, or you can call it as a KT to someone else. Okay. Similar to that, contents are getting created so that the content can be consumed and the knowledge can be taken up by anyone else also. Okay. So content consumption. Okay. For consumption, let's say I created a content. How do you consume it?
You access it.
Yeah, you can access it. So for that, I think yesterday we talked about, for creating we call it as editors. For consuming we call it as players. Okay. So yesterday I think we saw one more thing, like what are the types of contents that we have. You have
Content, collection, question, set.
Zoom, huh? Okay. Okay. I'm not used to this. Okay. I'm not used to big sizes. Okay. I always like it small. Okay. We were going ahead with the content types. What are the content types that we support? Yesterday we saw there were so many: EPUB, H5P, PDF, video, audio, and then images. Those are the things we support in Sunbird. Okay. So to create it, we have editors. There are editors called as three types of editors are there: generic editor, content editor, and collection editor. Collection editor, we had a V1 version which was pure JavaScript version. We have a improvised version which is version 2 of collection editor. It is Angular based, okay, which is pure Angular 2 means Angular, what do you call it? 2 plus. We can call it as Angular 2 plus. The previous one was Angular and JS based. Okay. So, and these are not taken by Sunbird ED at all, created by Sunbird ED at all. It has been created by a team called Knowledge. Okay. I think the session is going on there. They have that ownership, content creation and all those things is owned by them, but consumed by us. Not only by Sunbird Ed, it can be consumed by anyone else also. It has been built in a way that it can be consumed using your web components or as an npm module also. Okay. So I'll go through the repositories for the same. If you can go, I'll just show you guys. In our microsite, consumption part I'll come. Let's create first. Then we'll go with the consumption. Okay. So in our microsite we have said knowledge is the building block, and then I'll go with and open knowledge ka what do you call it, Git project, and if I go here, there are certain things which are their API items, which I am not worried about right now. We have something called as editor. I'll just type. Okay. So we have content editor, we have collection editor, and we have generic editor. Okay. Individual wise, I don't want explanation of each of them. I don't have an idea also, because I am not the developer. I have zero idea about this, but only consumption I have means consuming this I have an idea. Okay. How do we consume? I'll show you that. Where do we consume? I'll show you that also first. Okay. Before I go there, I'll just stay staging.sunbird.ed, explore. Okay. Log out. I was logged in. Okay. I should have used that one. I have a role for content creator. I'm using that particular role. Okay. So when you go, all your creation is happening in the workspace. We call it as a workspace. Okay. Click on it. You will go inside. You will see. You can, because I have a role for content creation as well as book creation. I can see that I have an option of creating.
Through VDN, right?
There is not VDN. Co-create, I think.
We'll cover on Sunday.
Sunday.
Sorry, Saturday we'll cover.
Saturday. Okay, I think my friend will come cover it on.
Part of Diksha.
This is part of Sunbird. There is no Diksha.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Part of
For me, it is no
So
Diksha.
where
Yeah.
through login you will go.
Yeah, this will be with the login that I have. This is in staging right now.
User-based login. It is.
This user has a. Yesterday we saw user, create a user, assign a role to the user. Okay. So I think the user that I am using right now has a role of book creator, content creator. Okay. Because of that, I can see both. Content creation is also possible. Book item is also showing up. There are certain cases where you may not get book at all. Only content creation is available. So that is also possible. Okay. I think I can show you that if dev is still working. Just want to show slash. Okay, sorry. dev.sunbird.org/resources. Okay, dev is not working properly. I don't want to go ahead. No, it's okay. So there are, because this particular, okay, I'll just show you guys before I go into workspace in depth. I just want to show you guys the profile of this person. And because he has book creator access, content creator access, all the access I wanted, I have used that particular login. Okay. So all these things are available. So I can create in my workspace, I can create books, I can create courses, I can create collections, resources, upload any content, all those things are possible. Okay. So now when I click on any resource creation, or let's say if I want to create a collection, if I want to create a upload content, there are different editors that we use it. Okay. So I'll just correct me if I'm wrong. I'll just update. Resources is content editor, upload is generic editor, and any collection you want to create is collection editor. Okay. So when I click on it, you need to add all these things. I don't want to do that. I just want to add it. So the editor that is getting opened over here is the content editor. Okay. It takes a time because it has so many plugins inside it. Those JS has to be downloaded. That's why it is taking time. Okay. I'll not worry about these things right now. I'll not worry about these things right now. All these are available over here in this. All are available. The repositories I have already shown you. It is available here in the knowledge ka what do you call it as project. Okay, it's called project in GitHub. Yeah, GitHub organization, is it? Okay. So yeah. Okay. Now what is more important is how is Sunbird ED or the portal is going to use it. Okay. So if you go to code base, I'll just command P. नहीं पैकेज डेफिनेशन में नहीं होगा. हाँ नहीं वो तो editors तो I'll just open the सारे editor का यहाँ पे. So if okay, I think it is too small. Control plus. I'm not used to this. Big, बहुत बड़े हो सकते हैं. Okay, so we have components created for each of the editor. What is it? It's not the complete editor. We are not writing any code for editors, but editor needs something as an input. Though that we are going to create it and send it to it. It's called as configurations. Okay, so those things we are going to send it, but we are not writing anything specific for any editor. It is just a configuration. Maybe let's assume I'll just give you an example. One editor wants to know where this data has to go and sit, which type of content I'm creating. Those things I will tell it, but I'll not tell it you have to use this particular code base and all those things. It will understand by itself and come to us. Okay. So if I try to open any one of the editor, I'll go with generic editor right now. So you will have something called as configurations. We have editor configuration, that is yeah. So here we have configurations for each of the editors. Okay, what are the configurations? I think you guys will still go. You guys go through it. I don't want to explain everything on this. There are configurations. Just imagine there are configurations which are created, and it is again open sourced. It is available for you also. You go through it.
It's a contract.
Yeah, it's nothing but a handshake.
They define the contract. Okay, what is the configuration to be passed? Okay, we are passing that configuration.
Mike. Yeah. Okay. So what we will do? We will initialize it, and there are generic editor. Just one simple thing. Call the generic editor with some dimmer. There is nothing in the HTML. It says try to get it from the generic editor. Okay. So in the init file, okay, I don't want to do
Okay, before you proceed, all these editors is launching in the iframe.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why you can see HTML there is nothing, just a div tag. Okay, where to launch a iframe. You have to give the path. Iframe nothing but is a path you have to give, right? Where that actual editor build is present, you have to give that path. That application will be loaded in the iframe. That's how all the editors works. Okay, not all the editors, pretty much old editors, what we call here showing a generic editor.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is the place where the generic editor gets created and gets opened as an iframe. This is what it is. This is jQuery. Okay, and I'm not worried about this because I am not the person who is doing it. In their documentation, they would have had, okay, use this particular link and get it added like this. I'll add it and I'll be happy. As a portal guy, I'll be happy with that only. Correct? I should not be worried too much about what it is doing. What it is doing is its own functionality. I'll be more worried about how it is getting invoked. That's all. Okay. Similar to this, all three editors, I think only the collection editor is Angular 1. It is not using jQuery anymore. Okay, यहाँ पे. This is the old one. I am extremely sorry. This is the older collection editor. I told you there are two different editors available. One is Angular 1 with JS. That is this collection editor. And there is a new one which is Angular 2 plus. I can call it as Angular 15 right now because it is TypeScript driven. And that is over here. It's called as new collection editor. And configurations, I think it is the same. In the editor configurations, it are available. Okay. So this is what is collection editor and its code base, how to configurations are sent to it and it will be utilized. Should I go in depth? No, right?
Just explain the configurations.
Do you want to explain whole the configuration?
Especially primary category. Touch upon the primary categories. Those are key things.
Yes,
How
sir.
it should work.
I'm sorry, guys. Okay. So these are all the contexts which is sent from our side to the editors. Our side means Sunbird portal, okay, ED. And these are the things that are sent to the editors so that they can understand which primary category I am sending, for which channel I am going to get it created, all those details. Because I know that channel, because the user is logged in, portal knows which user is logged in, what is his channel ID, and the content has to be created for that particular channel ID.
For that user also, all the user specific information.
Owner is that user. All those things will be understood by me, not by the editor. Editor but just wants it as an input. So those things are sent over here.
As a editor,
Huh.
so like for one class, okay, like class 5th subject biology, I have some content to be uploaded. So the content is in some format, right? It could be in Word or PDF. So currently, this is because that is where the limit, right?
It is PDF and
PDF and
images. Word is possible, is it?
Word is
I
not
think
possible.
Word is not possible.
PDF, okay. I have already PDF created, so I will just go and upload here.
You can upload, yes, fine.
That
Yeah.
is the thing. That is the
No, no.
Yes.
You can see. No, the thing is, when you say editor, see the thing is, you create a content. How do you create a content? Upload a content. So after that, uploading a content is one part. Then you say that this is associated to whom. That is your what do you call it as metadata that we saw yesterday.
okay, after that
Updating the metadata of it.
update
Huh.
metadata. Okay. Then you will after that you will
It will go to publishing cycle,
publishing cycle.
and it is
For
and
review and okay.
huh.
It will go to review.
That is what is a publishing cycle. Publishing cycle is review. Yeah.
Review and then publish.
Yeah, it will go to review. It will go, depending on the reviewer whether he feels that okay fine, this content is okay to me to get it passed and published it. It will get published. If it doesn't want, he can put a comment and send it back. Okay.
So now the next going forward, what is expected is the accessibility.
What do you mean by accessibility?
So that
There are two parts of
disabled person
accessibility. Correct.
So in that perspective, the editor which I have or whatever document I am uploading, it should be compatible with
The
those criteria.
editors are currently compatible with the accessibility.
His question is content should be.
No, content should be enriched by you.
But the content whatever I am writing, okay, it may be that I might write on a editor which has all these facility, all these criteria can be fulfilled for compliant perspective.
See, that's a different thing, right? Okay, because now when you're uploading a file,
So what I mean to say is, so is it that content, any version is there or any content tomorrow we can add? for editors.
A PDF is a PDF. You can upload any PDF.
Whatever.
You can upload any PDF. There is no restriction. But if you want the editor, let's assume when you consume, if the PDF has to be read automatically, it is not editor ka problem.
Okay.
It is a consumption problem, which is a player problem. Player has to read that particular PDF.
Okay.
I'm not coming to player. We'll come to player once we are completing the editor part.
As a player.
It is a consumption part.
Okay, that's part of consumption.
Now let's assume you uploaded a video, but I want the transcript of it.
Transcript, correct.
Now you have it is not a player problem. Transcript has to be uploaded by the creator itself, because creator knows what is the video, and the transcript of the video has to be uploaded by you. Now it becomes an editor issue. Editor will give a capability to you to upload a transcript also. With an upload, if you say this is a video upload, you can upload the transcript also.
Right. Then the caption. Automatic that in our YouTube becomes caption. So that.
I think transcript is that one only,
Transcript
right?
is nothing but a captions.
Captions.
That is caption only.
Yeah, captions.
So
No. Transcript is nothing but a caption.
Captions, what it shows.
captions, okay. So my actually where I'm coming from is, see, ultimately we want those functionalities, right? Caption which we change and all, right? That will be part of the player, correct? The
See,
type of player.
no. Okay. If a video is uploaded without a caption, now player will not understand ki, okay, this caption has to be added to it. How will it understand?
Okay.
It is not so intelligent. Ki, okay, this video is there, I will try to translate it in English. No, it is not possible. But let's assume you uploaded a movie, simple. Movie ka subtitle, आप ही upload करोगे? I'm just going in Hindi, I'm extremely sorry. So you have added a movie. So the movie subtitles will be added by you only. If third party tries to subtitle your content, it may be something different.
Actually, once they select the caption, then
Once they upload a content, you have there will be an option to upload the caption also. Sorry, transcript also, not caption. Yeah, transcript also. It is STR file. SRT file. I'm sorry. It's an SRT file.
it will be part of the upload.
Content upload. Editor this thing. Okay. So we are seeing that primary category, which primary category it is getting created without a framework channel. I don't want to go through the coding part of it.
I would recommend you to go through the editor configuration to understand more what.
This is
Why are you passing all these things? If you don't understand.
This is the line that Vinu is trying to tell you. Just see, this particular part, window configuration for a editor or a generic editor is getting copied from editor config. It is actually this JSON file. And it is trying to get it from there. Correct, right? I'm extremely sorry. I'm not very good in reading the codes and all.
Okay.
I'm just
So,
updating you guys.
This entire configuration, if you don't understand what is each and every property, again the contract, I say, if you don't know the contract, you can't really do integrations. Why I have to pass that? What is that editor is doing it if I pass it? If you don't know that, it's very difficult for you. Blindly sending a contract, okay, without knowing it, it's not good. Okay, you should know why you are passing all these parameters on the top. Okay, always in the configuration go up. Okay, there is something specific to telemetry.
It is here
Editor
also.
is generates a telemetry lot of things.
Here also it is there. Environment edit.
Yeah, okay. So all the telemetry level also we are passing as part of configuration itself.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
if you see
this one. This is again very important for the telemetry to understand in which build this error is coming. Let's assume you are using 5.1. His mobile, okay, no, editor will not work in mobile. I'll just give an example. He has opened his, let's assume,
Portal
a portal
to upload a content.
To upload a content. We need to know ki, he is not in the same place where I am sitting or your developers will be sitting. Now we have to know ki, in which particular version this problem was coming. Editor, he will directly say, editor not working. What is the problem? Nobody knows. Because we cannot go to him and say, okay, Abhi, phone, let's do a phone call. Now see what is the problem that you are doing. No, you cannot do that. So depending on the build number and depending on his let's say device IDs as well as the version of that editor, we can analyze the logs in the telemetry and see whether there was an issue, what was that particular issue that was happening. Okay.
Okay, these are a portal build number, so that editor is integrated in which version of the portal. So editor, you are passing that build number so that all the telemetry events which is generated by the editor also stamped with the portal build version. There is something telemetry specific configuration also we are passing it, so that always which portal, what is the version of the portal, okay. All those things will be stamped by the editor also. Okay, so a lot of things are specific to SID, DID, content ID and all. Portal is sending. Editor just using the same information and sending into telemetry event. It's not doing anything because it got that information, it's just pushing the same information into telemetry. Okay, so pretty much the similar way, some of the functional related, config related. If you see here, video size. Okay, portal doesn't need to know video size, only editor need to know. But it's not a hard coded in the editor side. They could have hard code, right, video side. Why
what is the size of video you can upload?
Upload. Okay, they could have hard code on their side. They could say only editor supports to upload 100 MB or 200 MB like that. But they didn't do that. They made a configuration. Okay, so that you define what is the size you want it. I will allow that much size.
Client is more important. Their client is Sunbird Ed. So we define key. Okay, if it is this editor, allow the allowable size of a file upload is this much. So we will allow it.
Same thing about the primary categories. The one. Okay. In this editor, what are the primary categories that you want to allow to create? You have the different primary categories, right? Okay, e-textbook and learning content, okay, resources and everything. Those are the things primary category. You pass it input. Editor will allow only showing those in the drop down so that he can choose what kind of primary category you want to create. Okay, they need hard code. Everything is a config driven now. You pass what you want, only those things will show in the editor, and then behavior will behave according to what is it.
And there are certain items like when you open an editor, browser back button should not work. It's not editor ka functionality. Editor is just opening it in an iframe. Now back button should not work is a client, that is Sunbird Ed who is doing it. So we have written that code. Disable the browser back button. And when an button is generate, let's assume generic editor is opened, an interact event has to be generated. It is not editor ka problem. It is again client who is using that editor has to generate it. We have written that. Okay. So like this, which are not editor's problems, only those codes are available in Sunbird. Which are uploading, let's say there is a file upload button, a file size, let's say click on that button, a pop-up of that particular device has to open. Those things we have not written it. It is again written by the editors. We are using that, that's all. Okay. Again, one more thing is, once editor has edit or let's say you have uploaded a file, you need to see what do you call it as preview. You need to see the preview before you say, okay, this is completed or not. Whether whatever I uploaded is in a correct way or not. Let's assume you are creating 5 different questions. You wrote a question, you wrote an answer. But okay, I wrote an answer. Whether it is looking in a correct way to the end user or not, you need to do a preview of it. So for doing a preview, a player is also integrated inside the editor. Okay. So I will not cover that in the editor because it is editor specific. Okay. This is what is editor size.
Session for editor specific.
That is you guys have to. There is knowledge.
I have actually an issue in the editor thing.
What is the issue that you have for ed? I will tell you whether it is ed or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. Okay, so the issue was related to one-do ID. And
Only one-do ID.
Only one-do ID.
That's not an issue. Okay.
So what was the issue? We play the content. We get into the iframe. So we play the content, the do ID content, and we went to the iframe. And there we have a menu icon, black color menu icon, if you remember. Yeah. So now we have to do changes in that menu icon.
You need to do changes in the menu
Uh,
icon for
like
what?
CSS changes, or we need to access. I mean, we are getting some issues in that menu icon only. We on the options on the menu icon also.
Okay.
We do have tickets for it actually, which are generated by our
Pardon me? Can you just repeat
queue.
it?
Tickets requirement actually.
Okay, uh-huh.
Yeah, and when we try to get the code of it, so we can access that code. We were not able to get the exact code. I do have a URL which we are not able to find in the project. If you can help me with it. So this is the URL.
iframe.
iframe, yeah.
It's nothing but an iframe in which your editor will be opened.
But this is actually representing to a
Did you
URL.
try to, okay, my question will be, this is a nice question. Did you try to go to the editor code and try to see whether the editor works with your, whatever changes you want to do it? Did you try directly going to the editor code and see whether the menu in the left hand side, whatever menu you have, trying to do some changes there?
Currently-
iframe will not work. You are trying it in the iframe, it's
it
not
will
the
not
correct
work.
way.
We need to go to that particular path,
Huh.
right? So right now for that do ID only, we are not able to get that code of
No,
that.
not to that do ID, right? You have that do ID ka hierarchy.
Yeah.
How do you run your editors locally? Have you tried editing the editors locally?
Sunbird player I tried actually.
Not player, right? This is a player, yeah. This is
Player,
a player,
yes.
correct. Huh.
Player I have installed it on.
Huh.
Player you cover as part of player when you are explaining the player.
Huh.
Yeah, that's why I asked you session. We are going to have a different
No, this is
session.
not a session for players. I will just players are again one more plugin
Yeah.
for us.
It's players are again Angular players.
Yeah.
It is
No,
not an
we
angular
know
player.
that.
This is not an angular player. Yeah.
Content player it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, where is the problem coming? Okay, I got
Yeah.
what you're saying is within a player there's a menu, within a menu there are some options.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That we'll discuss that as part of player part.
Sure, sure.
Now, editor part, okay, because it's an Angular JS code especially, you guys should know what version. Today, we are not supporting any new features on the top of generic editor. What do you explain?
Content editor, yeah.
Generic editor, nothing but a generic editor is a
Mic.
file upload editor. Generic editor, what you explained just now, is a file upload editor. Means files to upload. The files, what are the file types? PDF, EPUB, HTML, video, okay.
Audio.
These are the different files that we're supporting today as of now. This editor being used to upload those files. And whatever file you upload, it will create as a content. Okay, that content can be added into individual content play or can be into a collection again. Okay. This editor is written in Angular JS, which is a very old. Now community is not supporting to make any changes in this editor. Any new feature to be added or any bug fixes definitely there are no bugs as such. Okay, this is all stable release, okay, where we are not supporting any changes on the top of this editor anymore. Okay, and if you feel that if you want to make any changes, you should understand Angular JS, which is completely deprecated. Now no support from Angular also. Okay, you can't really expect someone to work on this code at all. You should not take any new features on the top of this.
Yeah, since we are going to cloud, right, and we are going for GCP and all other Azure and all, right? So why can't we have, because every cloud might be having their editors,
No.
managed services?
No.
Might be,
No.
Or players. Let me.
No, cloud is nothing but
No,
just.
why I'm telling, since you are going for that this approach of different clouds, so why can't we have? I don't know whether every cloud has or not. Okay, editors. It could be player also. Okay, so why can't we have that plugin? Okay,
It's
as
not-
well.
okay.
Why I'm telling so that it will have latest. We need not worry about whether this player was we created.
No, this is
quite
editor. This is editor. Editors are not available. You are talking about players, like the video player
Yeah,
that we
video
have it
player.
in a browser.
Uh-huh.
It's not cloud specific, it is browser specific.
Okay.
And the thing is, each browser will have it's in a different way. So, for generic,
Actually, it is a
browser specific. Yes.
Can you open that
The
chart? The
video players, audio
CS
players
splitting?
that you have,
Okay.
all those are browser specific.
YouTube and all.
See, cloud is an infra, right? What you're talking about, OCI, AWS, GCP and all, it's just an infra provided to upload your files.
it will just keep that file.
If I keep the files there, it will
as
not
your,
give any editor and consumption experience of those things.
As your computer has a hard disk, that also has some data, size available. You can put the files there. That's all. There is nothing special in
And
that.
this cloud can be accessed only by DevOps. None of the end users can access this directly. Okay? No, none of the developers. Okay.
Yeah, because I was thinking in different way also.
Why can't we leverage the browser?
Browser capability.
Browser or it could be two things, browser or the cloud specific players.
There is no cloud specific players actually.
Okay,
So
like
to-
YouTube, how
Okay, let's assume the question is, why can't we use the browser-specific players or cloud players, whatever? The cloud player here, or if I'm not wrong, YouTube players or something. So YouTube is something.
Like Microsoft has its own player, right?
Which one?
Microsoft has built their own players called Word, document, PPT, all their players are their editors. It's not like browser specific.
Yeah. So let's work around with the YouTube player, right? So the contents which are played under the YouTube plays under their own player, right? Browser has something standard HTML video players or audio files player or file picker, or image viewer, all the stuff. But why we are, it's nothing to do with the cloud, first point, right? Second thing, why we have our own video players or PDF readers or audio files players, right? We need to have some metrics or we need to have some control on the data what is getting played, right? So if you say like for example, this might not be applicable, but I'm trying to correlate. If I have played the video 50%, like 5 minutes video, I played 2 minutes 30 seconds, I need to generate some metrics like telemetry data or some events to be triggered. I need to enable the next item in the course hierarchy of the content hierarchy. So once the user has consumed this much, enable this. So this kind of events or this kind of controls we don't get in the browser built-in players. HTML5, the browser has a player. Browser does not have a player. HTML5 has a player tag called video tag, but it's not in our control.
And it is browser specific. So it can change in your Chrome, it can change in your Mozilla, it can change in your, the look and feel will be totally different in
Safari
different browsers.
has its own kind of a player.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one
Chrome
more
and
thing is-
Firefox can have a similar because it's run on HTML5.
And one more thing is what Rajesh told us, a very nice thing. Let's assume you have a content, okay? You have, I'll go with Diksha's thinking. Let's assume there is a content for a first standard or a second standard student wherein it is mathematics addition of two numbers. In your class, 50 guys are awesome. Only 2 guys are lacking. They were not able to understand 5 plus 2. What is 5? What is plus 2? What is this? They are not able to understand that at all. How will you know? You have made a video, awesome video, 5 plus 2 is equal to 7. Out of 50, all 50 understood. Oh, sorry, out of 52, all 50 understood, 2 did not understand. How do you come to know that these 2 did not understand once they are watching that video? Only because when their user ID comes in, they are spent that much time. When you ask question after that content is played, they are not able to answer. Then only you will come to know that, okay, even though this, we have to focus more on these 2 students. We don't have to focus much on these for 50. They are still able to understand 5 plus 2 is 7. Only these 2 are not able to understand 5 plus 2 is 7. Give more concentration on them.
To add on top of two more points, one is correlate with the Udemy courses. Like you are consuming a course in Udemy, right? If you don't complete chapter 1, right, chapter 2 will not be enabled for you. You need to consume certain amount of threshold to the next
Tracking, basically that some
Tracking.
of the functionalities which
Yes.
can be used for
Huh.
tracking purposes.
And,
Tracking
once-
as well as metrics, yes.
Also, once the content is played, right, we show up something called a rating pop-up, and feedback, kind of thing. This controls does not come with a browser HTML5 video player. So
browser players.
what I would recommend is like why video players are built. It's designed and taken care of, keeping all these aspects in mind. So it is HTML5 tag. I can pass the URL of the video file and I can directly play. But how does it help in analyzing, getting the data, analytics, metrics is something we need to have a control. YouTube also has. When I go to the end of the video, I have suggestion videos. It's their flavor.
Cost also matters, right?
What cost?
Your downloading or uploading the video player,
Okay.
which again consumption of the data.
For
Downloading video or player?
Anything.
No, downloading video is something.
Player, content.
okay, content streaming, yes.
Streaming and
No, content, okay. You are telling ki upload it in YouTube, they will take care of that.
No, even if I'm using my server,
Huh.
if I'm
No, if you are using it in your server, you have to pay for it. But if you upload it in YouTube, the thing is, now
You're going
that
out
is
of the
totally
system.
different.
No, we can't do that.
Actually, you are going out of the
that's
system,
not
and
something we are not to
there
discuss
are all
here.
rules and all those things for that. I don't want to discuss it right now.
We are not supposed to
why
discuss it all.
I was thinking, see, basically, if you are going for tutoring tomorrow or online video streaming and all, right? Or what is it called? Virtual class. See, virtual class will be similar concept. I need to develop on top of this, suppose.
Okay.
Similar to this one, where I will be using the front end. Right? In that case, it's for metrics. For example, some of this one like Zoom, if I use, and I embed that Zoom into this, okay? And then I try to have the virtual class option, and we can use some of the, because every this one vendors will definitely have the open APIs which can be used for
Not all will not never have open APIs.
The data, so here the context of once we have integrated that and if he is providing the data, we can't rely on that. So the control should be at our place. In case of what implementation you are telling, so you should have RPC, GPRPC should be implemented, that we can have a conference kind of thing which Zoom supports, right? So that is something the feature based what we are deviating, I think. So
Actually, ultimate my aim is, suppose if you want to have the tutoring or any virtual classroom, how we can embed it in.
I think that is a RCA. You are asking a wrong question in the wrong.
So similarly, what we have video, audio, PDF player, you should have a GPRPC support, something which is a streaming where it communicates one-to-one mission. GPRPC implementation.
It has to be. It's not a requirement that Sunbird has it as of now.
We are debating on the feature-based perspective.
Yeah, go ahead. He has one more question. Okay. Yes.
No, fine. Let me think over it.
Yeah, sure.
Ultimately, we need to go towards that one actually. For interactive sessions.
I may agree on you. I may not. I don't have an idea. Okay, so whether it is in a roadmap and all, I am not the correct person to answer it.
So in our roadmap is there. So
Yeah, sure.
I think they have a requirement to do the picture.
Okay.
Probably think about how to integrate.
Yeah. See,
As a front end, how we can have it.
one thing is today, whatever we use in Sunbird, it's all open source. There should not be any tools that we use as part of Sunbird is something the paid one where somebody else cannot use it. If you say Zoom and everything, whatever your interactive sessions and all, it won't be open source. Okay, you have to find a really open source library which can do that thing. If it is available, fine. You go and integrate and build a new editor for that use case. Whatever the things required for that API to call it and all, you build a new editor. And you start a new workflow, like how we have a file upload editor separate, content editor separate, collection editor separate. There is one more editor now, where interactive sessions can happen. Creation of the interactive sessions and then consumption of the interactive sessions. The new player and new editor for that. See, is that capability, can you fit into any of the existing editors? Good. If it is some APIs available to fit into existing editors, that's what you have to think of. That's a solutions point of view. Yeah, so pretty much we don't want to cover the content editors, okay? Both generic editors and content editor. I don't know, anyone can answer what is meant by content editor? What is mean by content editor? He explained just now generic editor, which is file upload editor. Then I told you different kinds of files to upload. This editor being used. What is a content editor? Blog? Okay. No, blog is a consumption. What does the creator will do?
He'll write the content for the blog.
Okay. Fine. Anybody else? Content editor.
Maybe read out the content pages or something like that.
Okay.
That is something I would expect.
Editor of the content.
Sorry?
Editor of the content.
Content editor name is suggesting editor of the content. Okay.
Nice.
Anybody else? Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. So we don't have to touch up more. We'll just open that. Okay, then we'll just show that.
Okay, you want
content editor
okay.
is nothing but we have our own spec, ECML specifications. Similar to PPT, you have the PPT slides show creation, right? Similar kind of contents you can create using content editor, where you have slides. Inside a slide, you can add a shapes, audio,
Yeah.
video,
I think
everything you can. Similar to PPT, consider exactly similar to PPT. Okay, we call it's an interactive editor, where user can interact with that contents, clicking and doing some action. It has to move. Okay, there are some basic animations also given. We call that as an interactive editor. One more name is old name is a content editor. Okay, that is everything is driven by ECML specification. Okay, again, this is also in Angular JS version. Even here is all plugin based. Still possible to do new enhancements, new plugins can be onboarded, but everything has to be written in JavaScript, not in Angular JS. JavaScript is a key thing which is used to build the plugins. Again, there is no community support for this editor as well. The two editors, what I told you, content editor and generic editor. These two are now is in the support zone. Okay, we are just giving support. We don't want to make any changes on the top of that. Okay, and you guys have to really see if there are any new features you want to build it. Think of how can we leverage existing code to make it work rather than you building. Building definitely not possible. Okay, because you have to learn Angular JS to do everything. Okay, which is outdated tech. Okay, we don't want to do that. Okay, yeah. So there are two editors. Pretty much the concept is same. Launching in the iframe, passing a configuration to the iframe, and that editor will take care of internal piece. Like if you say slides, creation and everything, that editor will take care. Portal no need to worry about that thing.
Whatever plugin and all, editor will take care. You can mention also, I want this plugin. Extra plugins you can add.
Yeah, the portal is passing what the plugins should be loaded within the editor. Like you have a new feature, if you build a new plugin for that feature, you just pass that thing as part of portal. You launch this plugin also when the editor is launched. That feature will be available within the editor. Okay. So again, pretty much don't accept anything to do changes on that editor. Pretty much, which is very difficult to you guys also to work on it and then testing of it and all. The major one is a collection editor, which is most used for the Diksha workflows. Okay, we'll just explain that. Collection editor V1, which is again AngularJS, deprecated version, no support at all. The V2 version, which is Angular 14 now. Okay, in the 6.0 is Angular 14. In the current Diksha production version, it's Angular 11. That's what we'll go with how the collection editor being integrated into portal now. To create a collection editor, the name indicates collection. Yesterday, Sharath, we are talking about collections, right? What are different kind of collections?
Yeah.
Textbook, question sets, and all that, right?
Courses, which is a trackable collection.
Okay.
Okay.
So this editor being used by collections, okay, just go for the collection editor. The new collection editor.
The new collection editor, this one. Okay. Code-wise, again, it's just a
NPM model, just to show NPM now.
you have p package.json client. This is the editor. Only this one is coming as npm module. If you see, there is no generic there is no generic editor or there is no content editor coming as an npm module because it is loaded as an iframe. Only this one we have a npm module which is added into our own project. Okay. And again, if you see, once it is downloaded, it will have its own tag to be used, and we will be using that. Huh? Okay, yeah. I was not able to see that. Okay.
If you see this code, okay, there's nothing. Editor integration is very simple. There's no code at the bottom. We just, that NPM package is exposing some tag, how to integrate. We are using that tag and passing configurations for the
that will be in the documentation of editor. Okay, in the README file of theirs, we will have what is the tag that has to be used, what are the configurations that has to be sent to them so that it will work. Okay, we will be using that and we will be sending it over here. Okay, now I have covered the editor's part. I'll just show you guys. Okay, I don't. Okay, I just want.
In Diksha also we have new collection editor, right?
Yes, yes, not the old one. Okay, some problem in the internet. Okay, okay. So I'll just go through this. In the workspace, we have create, where you can create contents, different type of contents. My content is nothing but whatever I have created. As this particular logged in user, whatever I have created will be sitting in the my content. All these things happens using a API called as search API, and depending on the user ID and channel ID to which he is associated with. We'll come and sit in this. If you want to see that, better do this. A search API call will go. If you go through the payload of it, see, created by, I think this is able to see, hopefully. Okay, so I think now you guys can able to see this. View past request, filter. Yeah, so it says created by particular this guy who is his user ID, and primary category, get me all primary categories which are created by me. It is nothing but the complete list of primary categories what is supported by Sunbird. Okay, and then it is saying get me all the contents which are in these status, which are in draft, which are in review, processing, all those get me in all my contents. Okay, similar to that, because this guy has a roles, you can see published as well as published he will always see. If he is a publisher, there will be one more called up to publish, up for review. Yeah, I don't remember the name. Yeah, it is called up for review. Okay, and then if he has created a batches for any courses that he has, it will be there in my batches and all. All these are again the search APIs. Knowledge will be exposing that API. We are just consuming that API. Elasticsearch, yes.
This you can do however you want the queries. Elasticsearch is given that capability. Any capabilities on the top of content, you define a query, then based on that, okay, you just give the options. This entire workspace is a key thing what you want to understand. This is not an editor. Editor is when
only
you
the three.
Create,
yeah.
That time editor launch. Entire all these options, who is handling? The portal.
Sunbird ED is
Sunbird
doing this
ED
coding.
Workspace module, what is showcased is the workspace
Yeah,
module.
I think you
Under the
can.
module, you can see all these things.
If you go here, right? I'll just. Okay, this is too big.
Go to the folders. What are they?
This is too big. What to do? This? Okay. No. This is extensibility framework. So the whole complete thing is inside this. You can see all contents. You can see similar to this all contents. There will be one more called submitted for review. All those things will be available here only. Okay. Created content, data driven. I think you can go through it. All are components based for the workspace.
Just Angular routing. There's nothing different here.
Yeah.
Angular route of which component is loading in the code. That's simple logics.
Okay. Yeah.
So is there any intensive pipeline we are using for API calling, like slash API, content, read, like this?
I think you hold your question for next 1 hour. Okay. There is a portal backend which is coming in. All the API means not all the APIs. He will not explain all the APIs. I'm extremely sorry. He will explain you the keys, like how the API works, and you will be able to understand whatever question you can ask at that time if you have still doubt. Okay.
Before I get to that, all editors using a standard notation called /action prefix.
Huh.
/action is a word which is a portal backend. He will explain that. What is that? All the editors, that's what the standard we define. They should not call any other APIs directly. Okay, because always /action route is handled by the portal backend, which is then it's remove that /action and then call it the actual endpoints from the portal backend. Editors is leveraging always /action API calls. But there is no actual API. It's only the portal backend to proxying purpose only.
Okay. So
any other questions on the editors?
We are running out of time,
Yeah,
so I'm just going a bit faster.
Any other questions on the editors? You want to understand? So we covered generic editor code walkthrough. Content editor we didn't cover because exactly the same. Content editor, there is no change, which is Angular JS. Ignore that. This is only deprecated versions now. You just have to use as is. One more, in the new editor, collection editor, which is an Angular version, which is used for collections to create. And then he just showcased about how the repository and how it's been integrated that. Okay. And again, it's configuration driven. The concept is still the same, but it's a new tech stack being used for this one.
Okay. Yeah, we talked about editors. Now, once editor is completed, means editing of the content is completed, you publish it. Best part. The second part is consume it. For that, we have players. We have players for PDF. We have players for video. Then we have players for QML. I think they already know. We can see this one. This is the list of players that we have. I'll zoom it.
Oh, okay. So you mentioned was Sunbird collection editor. Right. So we in our project we have V9 with it. What's it?
Version 9 of Angular.
Okay, so that means version 9 of Angular. So it will work on version 9 of Angular.
Angular 9.
Angular 9.
Angular 9. Yeah.
So we have to remove this if we are working on Angular model.
No. What she is saying is, do we want to remove it if we want to work on Angular 14?
Yes.
When we upgrade to Angular 14, that's why I think this is in 6.0. It is 6.0. Please refer this. I'm using 6.0 because this is my local. I'm not pointing to Git. I can point from Git. It will be identical to you in 5.1.0.
Again, I am repeatedly telling you guys should not touch the versions at all. Diksha guys are adopted Ed. You guys will be using same versions as is. I don't know why are you guys trying to make a change in the versions. There is no use case to change the version of these packages at all, Diksha. Until if you build some extension, made some code changes for this and contributed back, that published with the new patch version, not a major version, the patch. You should not change the major versions at all. If you are only up, fine, well and good. Okay, that's again. So if you build some new feature, which is not there presently in this library at all, then only the new version will get updated. Okay, so you should not touch this for your any of your project specific features. These versions you can't change. You should not change, ideally to say.
For that PDF player, you also have V9 in your 6.0.
V9 nothing but that player is built using Angular 9. That's it.
So it is compatible.
But
Because this is the same thing we have with the collection editor, just the V9 with the name,
Yeah.
Correct.
not the version.
No. See, that's a package ka name.
Yeah,
That's not a
package ka
version.
name.
That's a package ka name.
Yeah. So that package ka name I have in my collection editor.
Fine.
That is fine.
Yeah. It's a package name. Because again, if you see that collection editor is again NPM package, you will not change anything in that thing. You just use as is whatever its package is giving you.
Because version number is 5.0, but the package name is Sunbird collection editor V9.
Yeah. So the thing is, you are referring to 5.1.0.
Yeah.
I'm again coming back to 5.1.0 only. In this, if you see my package.json, it will be same.
And when I try to get this Sunbird collection editor, when I try to get this from the repo, in my Angular, in my system where Angular was 14, I was getting issues.
Obviously.
Yeah.
There's a V9, version 9. See, it's simple thing. When you go to any Angular project, package.json file is the key thing for you to tell which version is it Angular being used.
Yeah.
Okay, any version, any Angular project, not only this libraries, any Angular libraries you take it, just refer the package.json file of that library. That will tell you what is Angular version you should use when you are using the project.
To switch myself to Angular.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Use that library
You should clearly understand
a lot actually.
when you use 5.1.2, all the things in Angular 9
Yeah.
or Angular 11.
So this is 5.1. This is 5.1.0.6 because there was some fixes that we have given for I think
All these things are published as part of the
Yeah,
release
this is-
notes. Okay, that pretty much if you go to release notes of Ed, we will let you know what is the Angular version being used by the Ed. Okay, so that all of you guys should be in the same Angular version. You can't really go to latest of Angular version and running Diksha in that latest of it. No, it will not work.
Okay, I think with the release, I think if you can see this one, you have,
Rajeev, one more question.
yeah.
We have upload content feature. In Diksha, I'm talking purely about the Diksha, not about.
Okay.
So in Diksha, we have upload content feature in which we are using the editor for uploading the files and all. So for example, if we have to change the file size thing, like for example, as of now it's allowed 150 MB or 200 MB. We have to change that file size feature. So that is is controlled by
Configuration.
Just for the configuration first.
Just now we
Before
saw
you do
that
it,
configuration.
there itself just
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, just see the
You don't have to
contract.
rebuild also.
Yeah, just see the contract first. Is that configuration driven or not? Is that editor is allowing to do a configuration? If it's allowing, fine, go and change that. See what is the value now, what is the new value you want to add.
And I know it is configuration.
Yeah, it's a, like, I just showed you maximum video size. I just showed you that thing. Yeah. If you
Okay.
don't know the contract, that's where you will be, you don't know what to do. The contract makes a very key thing to know what features that contract is driving within editor.
Okay. So can I continue? So this becomes editor complete editor parts and the workspace also. Other than that, we have something called as, once we created the content, consumption of that content. So we have around over here we have players, EPUB players, PDF players, question set players, sorry, QML players. I'm extremely sorry, QML players, and then video players. There are one more. Okay. So how do we again, this is not built by Sunbird ED. This is built by a third party for me, that is Knowledge team. They have built it, they have published it, and I am consuming it. They are the third party for me. I am a consumer. Okay. So I have already added it in my npm module. Did I yarn? That means it has come and sit in my node modules. I'll
Call it as adapter, like how Diksha is adoption of the ed. We are also, the ed is adoption.
ed is nothing but an adopter of these players. Okay. Not only players, editors also. Okay. So here we have mentioned for a PDF, depending on the MIME type, if it is a PDF player, load the PDF player. Again, the README, in their README file, they will mention how to use this particular tag. Sunbird -PDF player, Sunbird video-player, all these details. And what has to be sent to it? Again, it has been added in the README file of theirs, or the you can call it as GitHub, what do you call it as? Repo. Their
NPM also you can see.
yeah, in the npm also you can see, as well as in their git repo readme file also you can see what is the tag name that we need to use if we want to use that particular player, what is the entry parameters that we need to send it to them so that that player works. Okay. So we have different players here. All the players we have added in one place, because depending on the content type, we will make sure that which player has to be loaded. Not all three will be loaded at the same time. Only one which is required for playing that particular content, only that will be loaded. Okay. It is in this, you can see that depending on the MIME type of the player, MIME type of the content, that particular player will be loaded. Okay. And these are the inputs for the player. One is player configuration, whether we want to put it in the full screen. Okay, I think, okay. Full screen is not for all the players, but only for video, I think. No, EPUB, in the EPUB player. And what is the telemetry which needs to be generated at that time, and all those things are mentioned here. Okay, as well as player events. What is the events that gets generated by the players? Okay, all these details are available here, and this is available in player folder under the player object. Okay, it's nothing but again Angular style in which it has been written. It is a component for Angular. Okay, so I think everyone has already seen the players. Should I show the players? Not required, right? But for okay, just for your this thing, when you play a content inside a player, the telemetry will be generated. Let's assume you click somewhere in the player, a telemetry will be generated. No data is captured, which is critical to you. Data is captured ki user has clicked somewhere, user has consumed this. None of the user's data is captured. Only the data which is required to understand ki what this user did. All those details will be captured and it will be sent to our upstreams. Okay. I hope that's it from my side. Should I? Can I stop? You can continue it. Yeah. Do you have any questions on players? We can take that one.
One thing, yes, before you proceed, okay, there is a V1 player, but the key things I want to understand.
That one I did not mention because it is.
Explain this, because the key things, there is no
okay.
HTML contents and everything.
See, I think the player that you showed, right? That was
The HTML.
HTML.
All HTML and all will be played by this V1 player.
This is a player which is the.
So we get this iframe content, we get the URL also, but we are not getting from where it is.
It is coming from your player which is V1 player. It's not Angular players. It is not. Sorry, it's an Angular player, but Angular 1 or JS player.
Angular 1.
Angular 1, yeah.
The view.html file which is mentioned in this, we want to access that HTML.
You have to go to the player.
No, okay. Now,
They want
this
to change
player
that.
is capable of playing all the content types today. You need to go for the V2 players. This player is capable of it, but it's a bulky. It takes some time because this player is capable of all the things to do its own. It takes time to load. That's why we split that player into multiple individual players, smaller players, so that it's very easy to load, faster loading. User experience will be better. That's why you can see different players built individually, each and every type, specific to file type. Today, if you see PDF, video, EPUB, and
QML player.
We have only 4 players. Now, how the other content types, like HTML content I told you. Content editor, right? Okay, interactive slideshow kind of content, right? Now, there is no player at all. This is the one which is able to play that. HYP, HTML. This is the player which is playing that. Because there is no condition here, like you can see that. This player will be by default able to launch all those players.
Handle all those contents.
Content types, okay. Now coming to your point, when you upload any HYP or HTML files, okay, it's just a HTML file, right? There is nothing. Okay, in HYP also, it will be extracted into HTML again. It will be unzipped into an HTML using the HYP library with the backend. Okay. So now, when you are unzipping it, what the basic constraint for any HTML is, index.html should be present in any of the application. That's the basic thing. The same assumption this player also having it. If index.html file is not present in the content what you uploaded, then this player cannot render that file. So you have to see the HYP file whatever has been created, whether that's the right thing or not, or zip file whatever uploading content creator, is the right thing or not. Okay. Now coming to your question, what is the exact error that you are facing?
No, they are not facing. They want to change something in the
styles
player.
of this. Now you only tell me, if it is iframe, will you go and change the styles? Will you go and change it? No. Then why do you want to go and change now?
It's not just about the CSS. We are getting some error also. There in the menu option, there is an option for turn off sound. Yeah. In that turn off sound, when I'm clicking on that, that sound is still there.
Okay. Now,
That is my
now what is your solution should? That's okay. I got it.
Yeah.
What is your solution should be? You want to disable that feature. Is a conflict driven today.
So we have to disable that feature.
That's not a problem, right? You are going to address. Like if you are facing a problem with that, either you go and fix that problem in the older editor, which is not
Angular 1.
Angular 1, or you have to disable that feature because many users are facing that issues. Go and disable that feature because more issues are coming in.
No way to fix
There are two options. How do you fix it?
No,
From
you
the
can,
CSS,
you
will you
can
go and
fix it. There is nothing like you cannot fix anything.
See, again,
You can fix it. You need to understand Angular 1. Try to go through the coding of it. Try to see at the player.
see, the solutions
no,
are many
she asked
solutions.
She asked it, ki how there is no other option to do it.
See, there are many solutions. If you say this player, as we discussed last time also, forking. Fork is the one option. You go and change the fork, or you do a code changes within your portal instead of forking it. There are different solutions like that. When the player being closed, why don't the portal can handle it? Okay, any audio playing it, stop the audio. Even though, of course, it's not stopping. Player is not stopping it. Why can't because of the browser behavior now. Within a browser, the audio is playing. Okay, you find out a solution. How can you stop the audio within a browser? What is playing it?
You can write
You implement the logic in the closure of the page.
in the portal itself. Whenever this particular iframe is loaded, I'm just trying to give a solution. I don't want to do that. What I am thinking is, whenever this iframe is loaded, disable my sound from my system. That is nothing but your system. try to think of a code for that and write that code.
See, browser gives that capability first of all. If the capability is available, just leverage that capability to do it.
That is a condition that if they want to turn off the sound or not. If they don't want to, I mean, we disable the sound when the player is
No. What is the problem today? After closing it, the audio is still playing.
No. It is not that. That is the problem.
sound only.
That's what.
In the menu, there is a button called turn off the sound. When you click on it, it is not working. That is what is the problem. I don't think that is a problem that we have actually. Only for one content, is it? Or for every content?
Again, see, it
Only
depends
one
on what
content,
kind of
right? It is
content
not a
is.
problem
What kind of
actually.
content is it? What kind of content is it?
It's a normal PDF content.
No. PDF content doesn't have audios.
Content, sorry, not PDF.
PDF content doesn't have audios.
Quiz basically.
Who created that quiz? How the quiz is playing the audio?
Because when you created a content editor, in the content editor, there is an option of adding the quiz and adding an audio also for it. If you have added an audio, that means you are trying to get the audio, right?
See, you
Maybe
don't need
that-
to see again. You don't need to tackle all 100% problems. Okay, they always we play 80-20% rule. That's what the game you should play. Okay, you have to leave with some few use cases, corner use cases.
And
where
if
it's
it is
very
coming for one content, I would still say it is not an issue.
And everything does not have to have a programmatic solution.
yeah, content. See, now you go and tell the creator to make the content properly so that because of this problem you are not able to do it. Go and update it, that content.
Video which is uploaded, the codec is not there.
Trying to get that HTML of this code to get that menu and
No.
If it is HTML content, definitely you can't control.
Yeah.
That's the creator only has to do it. He has to give the contract between player and HTML. He has to give the contract. Then only he can handle that. If it is HTML content, because he can do whatever you want to do. Okay, so you have to really understand the like what kind of contents you can play.
all the things, all the iframes which are used in the content player or everything.
Only one player is iframe. Rest all players are not
NPM
iframe at all.
packages.
It is
NPM
a
packages.
NPM packages.
Angular NPM packages.
It's an Angular tag that you are using.
We have only one frame in the
Iframe in the.
iframe, sorry.
You have only one iframe for player.
For player,
For editors, all two editors are coming in iframes.
Okay, so for iframes we cannot access exactly.
That is what is actually it is Angular 1. It is very hard to do the changes in iframes.
So you don't have any update for that?
He has already told it is gone into a stable life cycle. It is there. That's all. No support will be
nothing on
given.
I wonder actually you have not faced that issue. I mean, because that's a global issue for everyone.
You are saying only one content is happening.
Okay.
Maybe that content.
Windows 8. So I am still using Windows 8 laptop. Okay, will I have some problems? Can I ask the Microsoft to fix this my problem? Windows 8. Okay, this is a problem for all Windows 8 people, not only for me. Will they fix it? It's deprecated. Come on, like they will say, I have many other things to go ahead. I can't really support which is deprecated one going fixing it. You have to really get into that. That's how all the community works. Otherwise, you can't go your roadmap. Whatever roadmap items you can't achieve.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
fine, guys. Yeah. Any other questions on this? Because
I'm done with the players as well as editors. If you have any questions,
reports.
reports.
Dashlets. Okay.
Dashlets, okay.
So one thing, reports. Okay. There was a session on the data side, which is happening for
Which has happened for the resource services.
not resource,
Sorry,
dash-
report services.
Report services like Hakai reports. How many of you know Hakai reports? Hakai reports, admin reports, admin reports. Okay. The portal is just integrating the one of the library called Dashlets. Just again one more NPM package. Okay. To show the reports. It's just a request. If the request is success, it will show in that in the data in the data table. Saying that request is success, you can download. If it is not, it will show that difference.
Tomorrow I'm going to take form services. With that, I'll combine Dashlet also, so that backend will get time.
Pretty much before we read here, okay, we'll cover it high level, but it's good to sync up with the data team as well. Okay, the reports. Yeah.
Reports will be getting covered, but the thing is, how is
it's
it
been
going to
showing
get
in the
consumed?
UI? Okay. Pretty much the backend logic, everything. The portal is just showing the reports. That's
Showing
it.
the reports.
Then nothing else. You make a request. If the request is success or not, you just show. That's the only thing in the UI.
Yeah,
portal
I
is
will
that.
just inform you what is the API call, how is the Dashlet getting in as an NPM module, what is the code where is the code for Dashlets, Those things I will show you guys. And how the reports will be rendered. Those things we can show you. But I'll show you tomorrow because the time constraints that I don't want it to stop the backend session that we have. Let him take the backend session. Anyways, tomorrow I am going to give you a session on form services. With that, I will merge this dashlets also. Okay? Yeah. I talked so much. I talked 1.5 hours. I thought 30 minutes.
Guys, today's session, we plan to cover the portal backend as well. Okay, the agenda, as per the agenda. We have another 2 hours more, okay, including tea break if you take it out. Let's park the questions aside, just try to understand the concepts. Just try to cover it, then we'll ask the Q&A questions at the end of it, once it's completed.
Guys, this is very, very important. Please try to understand this. This is nothing but a bridge between your Angular and your portal backend which is running in Node. Now, post this, all your APIs goes to upstreams. Like it can go to knowledge, it can go to learn, it can go to observe. Like telemetry goes to observe. Okay, that's why I'm telling observe. It can go to inquiry also. Now, this is very important, and this is the place where sessions are getting created. When you say login, user gets logged in, sessions gets created. Please make sure that you understand this properly. Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
As Rajeev recapped
Mike ilva? Irva, ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ.
Okay, so as Rajeev was mentioning, this is something crucial to understand because till now we have learned or discussed all the APIs and how the data is getting painted on the browser for the end users, right? Now the communication bridge, that is portal backend, how the sessions are getting created, how the API from the front end to the portal, how we are entertaining the APIs, how we are acknowledging it, how we are forwarding it to the next service levels, right? So, and those roles, and how the routing happening, okay? What are the auth checks we have, okay? And whitelist and role checks, API whitelisting and role checks. Maybe I'll put a glimpse on how we onboard new API. Like let's say in the portal backend, if I want to have some new API, how do we onboard? What is the standard practice of Sunbird? What we are following, right? So that I'll be discussing. And environment variable, we have talked much about the environment, but I'll walk through on the if time permits on this. Right. This is the agenda for next 2 hours, probably. Okay. So before we get into that, in the session, right? So usually session deals with the logged in scenarios. So whenever the user is logged in, we generally create a session, update the required data to that, and we construct the session object and we keep it, right? But in our case, the Sunbird 8, right? We have a session for non-logged in user also, okay, and a logged in user. So we'll focus on the non-logged in user, that is a guest login, anonymous users. We can name it as it's, but the terminology what we use is anonymous users. So to be on the same page, moving forward I'll reference the same. So there might be a question arising like why we need a session for the non-logged in user. He is not logged in, right? So why I need to create a session for him? Why I need to maintain a session object in my system? Hello? Hello? Okay, no problem. Okay, sorry for the interruption. So the question, like why we need to have session for non-logged in users. Okay, there was a ask or a scenario where we had to track the users who are coming into the system and taking the essence of the Sunbird, the Diksha, by playing the contents, non-trackable collections. We can just go and browse for collections, and we had a huge traffic, and we had no clue like what the data and what the users are interacting. If you had seen in the previous session, Rajeev was mentioning that in the players, like user clicking on some place, we need to track. Okay, what the user is doing on particular content or particular page, right? So those metrics, in terms of entire application, we want it in the front session perspective. So we started creating a sessions for anonymous users. That's why I am bifurcating the session as anonymous users and logged in user. Okay, this is the entry point. Maybe we have to start mapping ourselves, like for anonymous users in the session. There is one common factor, that is session object, that we will talk about in the down the line, right? Now sessions, we have seen that authentication is done by key clock, right? Now how the session is maintained, that is something which is portal backend itself is doing. Okay, because the request comes first hop for the API is our portal backend. Now it should know whether that request is coming from a genuine requester, the sender, like the portal, right? Or it is something, a script which is trying to bring down the system or bring the heavy load on the system, right? So that is the hop. So we are maintaining the session at the portal backend itself. If whatever the checks what we will be discussing, if that is passed, then only the request goes to the next service level. Okay. Now the session in the portal backend is maintained by a package called Express Session, which is an npm package, which is commonly a node, commonly used session package by all the node projects, right? Because it is well tested and it is long term, which is been supported in the community and it's more popular. Express Session is the one which is taking care of the session object. And how do we are managing the session data, right? There is something, I'll walk through the code. There is a Redis comes into picture for maintaining all the session data. Previously we had Cassandra, and the implementation right now supports Cassandra as well as Redis. Again, it all depends on the environment variable, saying that session data store. What is the session data store I need to bring up when the services are up? Should I use Redis or Cassandra? So if Redis, you have to pass. No problem, sir. Okay. So I was telling, like again the session data store is decided by the environment variable, whether to use a Cassandra or Redis. Similar to the cloud. Yeah. Please pass the mic over.
Which version we moved to Redis?
Sorry?
Which version we moved to Redis?
It was in 4x something.
4.10, maybe plus 1 or 2.
It's available in 5.
It's Redis is completely available. It's completely on board.
In 5.1, whenever Diksha was taken by you guys, so it is already in.
So I'm just giving a background, okay? Because when we walk through the code,
But it is a configuration.
you should not be surprised by.
Or if you guys want to change it to Cassandra, it is still possible. The code is not deleted. So you made it as a configuration.
Okay, so again it depends on the environment variable. We need to pass the Cassandra means like Cassandra ka service URL and port number. If it is Redis, Redis port and URL, right? That is all about session now. Now let's I'll walk through how the session is handling in the portal backend. Okay, so we have a server.js file, okay, where we are importing a package. Just you want me to zoom? Better? Yeah. So there's the package which I was mentioning, express-session is the package, okay, which is imported. Servers.js is the main entry file when we are starting the backend. Right?
Increase a little bit more. I think there it is not visible. Increase a little bit more. And the video.
Yeah, this is enough, right?
Yeah, now it is enough.
Okay, sorry, this is the one. Okay, so now how the API needs to pass through this every API request need to pass the session conditions is like there's one block which is responsible to do this activity. Previously we did not have this block. Once the user is logged in, that goes through a different set of instructions where the session is getting created post the key clock authentication, right? That is a futuristic background, but for the anonymous user, right now we are talking about anonymous user, and also there is a flag called Kong device register anonymous token. Okay, if this flag is set true, you might be wondering true is a boolean variable, why it isn't string? Because YAML file which is coming from the DevOps, having the boolean value, sometimes it is having the conflict. So it's best practice to use a string. That's why there is a string, not a boolean value. Now this variable is why we have made it configuration is, let's say we have our application deployed and a lot of traffic is coming from the anonymous user and your data store is like shooting up and it is coming with a low memory and there's a delay in user getting the response for the portal backend. What we do is we disable this flag. Don't create a session for the anonymous user. So you don't need a build and code test anything. You just change the flag, you redeploy the service. Since it's a K8, the user will not find a difference that the user application is getting deployed or no downtime will be there. So it's on the fly, you just switch the flag and you bring up you look up the issues in the Redis or Cassandra, whatever the memory storage for the session. You clean up and you do the activity, you fix the issue, and then you bring up the flag up, right? So that's why wherever you see this environment table, it's for just to have a backup purpose that if the service sometime if it goes for a toss, we just change the flag, redeploy it. Redeploy, not rebuild. Right? This is perfect, right? Any questions so far?
By default, user will be anonymous.
Sorry? By default it will be true. So if you look at the DevOps folder environment variable file,